Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you learned something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button, please subscribe and please enable notifications. We have some new details about this new vaccine and a date. Yes, we have a date by which you can expect this vaccine to be available at a Walgreens or at a CVS pharmacy. So let's take a look at some of the new information that has now emerged from Operation Warp Speed. But what's also really interesting is that unlike the flu vaccine, this vaccine requires to be stored in dry ice, in tons and tons of dry ice, which is something that it seems that Pfizer is manufacturing on their own, because this vaccine needs to be stored at a very, very low temperature. So again, some new information has come to light about when we can expect this vaccine to be available at our local, at our local Walgreens or at our local CVS pharmacy. And keep in mind, the US government has set aside $2 billion to purchase 100 million doses of this vaccine from Pfizer, with an option to buy an additional 500 million doses. That's where things stand right now. And also, you can expect there to be a worldwide rush for this vaccine. I'm getting calls from individuals all over the world saying, hey, can you send us the vaccine? And I've had to say, I don't have access to it right now. So where things stand right now is that the world is ramping up to mass produce this vaccine. The stock market has already surged quite significantly. A lot of the stocks in travel, entertainment, leisure, hospitality, banks. Bank of America is up more than 15% today. I also own Bank of America in addition to Apple, because Apple and Bank of America are two of my personal favorite stocks. And there is a consensus, there is an optimism suddenly that didn't exist before. I have done another video where I talked about, did the US government actually fund the research through Operation Warp Speed for the Pfizer vaccine? And was there any political influence within the Pfizer vaccine, when it came to the announcement? And you definitely want to check out that video as well. But let's take a look at some brand new information about the storage of this vaccine and what makes it so different from the flu vaccine. By the way, the flu vaccine does not have over 90% efficacy, which supposedly this vaccine has, and they are waiting for one more benchmark. Pfizer is waiting for one more benchmark, which is that individuals who get the second dose are observed for a few weeks to make sure that they're still fine. And they actually at that benchmark, will be at that benchmark in a couple of weeks. So they've actually come of a long, they've come a long way. Tens of thousands of people have been tested. And again, for me, it doesn't matter whether you take the vaccine or not. This isn't about that. This is about the sense of optimism that is now starting to emerge and sweep through the stock market, hopefully through your local economy, and then by extension through the rest of the world. This is an announcement that I think we should all be encouraged with. And, again, whether you take the vaccine or not is not the point. The point is now the optimism that we needed, the news that we've been waiting for, the news that can hopefully get some level of confidence back into the normal economy, so that we can go out there and start doing the things that we did at the start of this year. So let's roll the tape and see this new announcement about the storage parameters of this vaccine, and more importantly, when we can see it at our local Walgreens and at our local pharmacy, as reported by CNBC. And they got this data from the government, from Operation Warp Speed. Let's roll the tape and see.
A minus 94 degree Fahrenheit temperature for up to 10 days. Each container can carry between 975 and nearly 5,000 doses of the vaccine. Lorianne LaRocco, CNBC senior editor, joins us now with more on this process. So once, Lorianne, the vaccine is manufactured, it is boxed, how and by whom is Pfizer's vaccine going to be delivered?
Well, thanks, Tyler. Pfizer is going to be using its own logistics system. It has a very long track record, as you know, in distributing its own vaccines, especially those that are in the ultra cold temperatures that you just discussed. I spoke with Major General Christopher Sharpson of Operation Warp Speed about this. Pfizer is the only candidate that is not going to be using McKesson as its distributor because of its track record. They will be using FedEx and UPS.
And so they are experienced at carrying these boxes at very low temperatures, packed in dry ice. It's a good time to be a dry ice maker, or does Pfizer make its own dry ice?
Well, that was one of the big sources of concern with this vaccine, but good news is that Pfizer is making its own dry ice.
How quickly can we expect this vaccine to be in mass distribution, we heard earlier maybe 50 million doses, one shot and two shots, so really 25 million vaccinations, maybe by the end of the year. But how soon before we can really expect to see it at the CVS or the Rite Aid?
From what Operation Warp Speed told me, they are standing by their original account that hopefully by June, that any American who would like to have a vaccine should have access to it. So that's the date that they are sticking to.
Do the other vaccines have to be stored at these extremely low temperatures, or it's something a little more moderate?
No, the other vaccines that are currently in development are at a temperature where they could be stored at a longer period of time, like your flu shot. So Pfizer is the only one that needs to be transported under these extreme cold temperatures.
And finally and quickly, are there enough freezers through the supply chain to keep these things at the temperatures they need to be?
According to the math, it really depends on the states in the way that they're going to be distributing the vaccine. They have X amount of days to do it, and Operation Warp Speed, based on the ability of the state, they will then in turn send a specific amount of doses, if you will. So no freezers could be used or trying to avoid.
Now, I do want our viewers and subscribers to understand that Pfizer is not the only company that's been out there building a vaccine. There are other companies that are actually building vaccines as we speak, but it remains to be seen whether those companies are going to be able to build a vaccine that has above a 90% efficacy rate, as you know, just like Pfizer has. So could this be a winner takes all market? Probably not, because there are likely to be other companies that are able to create a vaccine that is as effective, just like Pfizer did. We don't know that yet. There are still a lot of unanswered questions. One question is, for example, is it effective for all age groups? Is it effective for the young? Is it effective for the old? Is it effective for individuals who have compromised immunity? Because those are the individuals, seniors specifically, individuals with compromised immunity, are the ones who are most at risk for COVID. Other questions, is it going to help individuals who already have COVID? Is it going to be able to help them? Generally, vaccines are not effective for individuals once they already have an illness. They are designed as more of a preventive measure. So a lot of questions still remain. Other questions are, what is the duration of the protection? Does it offer temporary immunity? Does it offer permanent immunity? We don't know the answers to all of those questions yet. And the biggest question, honestly, is how many people are actually going to be taking this? Because I know I've been seeing viewers and subscribers comment below and say, hey, I'm not going to take it, or, it was rushed, it was too fast. I mean, that's fine. It's your decision. This video, my channel, is not about trying to get you to take a vaccine. My channel is about giving you information, and you can essentially be the judge yourself. You be the decision maker yourself, because I have a lot of confidence and a lot of respect for our viewers, and my goal is to give you information, and I know you'll make the decision that's right for you. So we don't know whether people are going to take it. Also, here's another thing. We expect to have 50 million doses ready by the end of the year. Like I mentioned, the US government has agreed to purchase 100 million doses, but 50 million will be available by the end of the year. And there's likely to be more than 1 billion doses, 1 billion, more than 1 billion doses by this time next year. So, there's going to be mass production. There are facilities all over the world that can mass produce vaccines for the whole planet. This honestly is going to be a huge money-making opportunity for these, for these companies that manufacture these vaccines. We know that. But then the question is, who gets the vaccine first? Is it going to be healthcare workers? Is it going to be the older, the elderly, the ones who are the most vulnerable? I can tell you, in my house, there's me, there's my wife, I have a 5-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, and then my mother is 75 years old. I can tell you that my wife and I, if we feel that the vaccine is safe, because we're going to wait and see, the results that come out. We're going to wait and we're going to actually look at some of those results ourselves. Because keep in mind, right now, Pfizer has not really released a peer-reviewed research study, which I'm going to read once it comes out. They essentially sent out a press release at this point. My wife and I have decided, hey, if it's safe, if we feel comfortable, then, I'm going to ask my mother to take it. And, hopefully she'll say yes, and hopefully she'll take it, because I do believe that there are some individuals who need it more so than others. That's just my belief. Again, you feel free to believe what you want. Let's take a look at some brand new reporting about some questions surrounding the vaccine, the number of doses that we are likely to get by the end of the year, and most importantly, who should be taking it first, if at all. Let's roll the tape and you can see it and judge for yourself.
How long does this protection last? That's something that's going to be a question that's answered over a longer period of time. And of course, guys, how many people will want to take this vaccine? We've seen the numbers showing that people are hesitant because this process has gone so quickly. Will that change now that they see these strong results? Of course, the other major question is supply. Pfizer saying today they expect to have 50 million doses by the end of 2020, up to 1.3 billion in 2021. This is a 2-dose vaccine. So this year, that's enough for 25 million people. And that's around the entire globe. That's not just in the United States. So supply will be constrained, meaning that other vaccines that come along, we have to hope they're effective too, in order for everybody to be able to get a vaccine who wants one. Wilf and Sarah?
Meg, so many questions, and you've answered so many of them throughout the day on CNBC and on your Twitter feed. My two little questions now are, so 50 million doses could be available by the end of the year. Would those all be deployed if emergency use authorization is granted in the next couple of weeks, or do you need a further step of approval for that many people to be vaccinated? And to your other point there, given this 90% effectiveness, will this maybe not be a winner-takes-all market for Pfizer and BioNTech, but perhaps will it mean that people will have a very clear preference for this vaccine?
We'll have to see the results of the other trials in order to know if this one is better than others. So that'll be a really great question. In terms of, will all 50 million doses be available at the same time? We don't necessarily know which countries are going to get how much vaccine first. We were talking about that with Albert Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer, this morning. The U.S. has made a deal to purchase 100 million doses. It's not entirely clear to me if those doses come to the U.S. first and then other countries, if they sort of meter them out around the globe, a certain amount at a time. And then there are also bodies that make decisions about which groups of people will be first in line for the vaccine: healthcare workers, people on the front lines, people at most risk for severe disease like the elderly and those with underlying conditions. So all of that stuff will start to get lined up and already has been. But in terms of the number of doses, still some question marks, and also about the sort of pace of how quickly we'll get more supply.
That's it, everybody. Let me know what you think. Please comment below and let me know what you think of this new information. So June of 2021 is when we can expect the vaccine to be available at a local pharmacy, at a Walgreens or at a CVS, where you can probably, just go there and get it. And based on the $2 billion that has been set aside by the US government for 100 million doses, with the option to purchase an additional 500 million doses, this is not going to cost Americans anything based on the reporting that we have right now. So that's it, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, please check out my video. You'll learn more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. If you learned something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications so you get instant updates from us going forward. Remember, the name of our channel is Ignition Time. Please also share this video with friends and family so that, it helps out the YouTube algorithm. It'll be your vote of confidence in us. I really, really appreciate you watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. And hopefully this can be the first step in our long way back. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.